What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Late Night Fright Horror Chat number 8. I'm the Jay Sloan, the leader.
I'm Chris Brock, the co-leader. I am Jeremy Burchett, member.
I am Mike Schenkel, a member.
And today we are going to be doing our Christmas of Horror. This is, like I said, Late Night Fright Horror Chat number 8. First of all, I just want to apologize. We have not done a horror chat in so long. It's been almost a year. A lot of things have been going on Late Night Frights, and I won't dive into that. But we are back here today, and yeah, so we're going to be talking about all kinds of different horror, Christmas themed horror films. From our favorites to our least favorites. So yeah, let's dive into it. Um, so yeah, we're going to be talking about these randomly. There's no specific order. And let's see on the list here. Let's see. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is, of course, a classic. This is my favorite Christmas-themed horror film of all time, and it is Black Christmas from 1974, of course, directed by Bob Clark. So yeah, I'll give my opinions on it last. What do you think about it, Chris? What's your opinions on the original Black Christmas?
It definitely is my favorite Christmas-themed horror film. You can see some, John Carpenter's Halloween definitely draws some inspiration from Black Christmas with the POV shots. I love how the vibe of it, the atmosphere of it. I love how it's so dark, but yet the same year Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, but they're so like different in terms of like feel and grittiness. It's definitely just one of my favorite slashers. I just really enjoy it a lot.
Yep. What about you, Jeremy? What do you think about Black Christmas?
I haven't got to see it all the way through yet, but what I did see, I really liked. So I'm definitely gonna have to finish watching it. But
Yep. Okay, what about you, Mike? What do you think about the original Black Christmas?
Well, Black Christmas is one that I have not seen yet because I haven't owned it, but I'd definitely like to buy that someday on Blu-ray.
Yeah, Black Christmas to me is it's it's made in 1974. We got to look at that's the same year that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was made, but a completely different film and really the first of its kind to involve Christmas in a horror film, and it executed it perfectly. I mean, it did everything that us as horror fans wanted to see. It was a film that had many beginnings to it. It had the POV shot walking up to the house right in the beginning of the film, which you can clearly see they drew from that with Halloween. There's a lot of that going on, and just the suspense. It was looking at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't want to get off topic, but you look at that film, and then you look at Black Christmas, and they're two completely different films, but they're two slashers that really kick-started the genre, along with Halloween and Psycho. But um, I loved it. Loved the suspense. Who is the killer? That whole thought going through the film, and you're always wondering who's doing these crazy things, who's stalking these girls, and that's never really fully explained, and that's another thing that I like. But yeah, Black Christmas, a definite classic. Bob Clark, just great director all around. Did some great films. This is definitely one of his best, if not his best, and yeah, definitely a film to watch on Christmas or around the Christmas holiday. If you're a horror fan. If not, you're going to watch A Christmas Story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, films like that, Home Alone, which I can still watch those two, but it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, especially teens from this day and age are not going to look at Black Christmas and see it as a classic horror movie. It's probably going to be kind of slow to them compared to what they've seen. But to me, it is an absolute classic, and it is my favorite Christmas themed horror film of all time. So, talking about Black Christmas, now let's move on to another classic here, guys. A classic from 1984, and you know what that is? A Silent Night, Deadly Night. So, Chris, what do you think about Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Well, I've only seen it twice, but I really enjoy it. It's different from Black Christmas. I love Black Christmas. I think it's a classic. Some scenes in Black Christmas still unnerve me to this day, but it's different, but in a good way. It isn't completely straightforward seriousness because there's a few scenes in there that are somewhat comedic, but I just think it fits with the time. You know, '84, and it got a lot of backlash. A lot of people boycotted it. They wanted it taken out of theaters, and I can definitely see why. It's a pretty brutal film, and just a fun film. I really do enjoy Silent Night, Deadly Night, and it definitely is a classic in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. What about you, Jeremy? What do you think about Silent Night, Deadly Night?
I really enjoyed the film. When they had like a little comedy added in there, I was just like, classic '80s. Yeah, I thought it was really good. It was. I could see why people was wanting it taken out of theaters, for back then. And I just really have a fun time watching the film every time I see it.
All right, what about you, Mike?
Well, Silent Night, Deadly Night is definitely a film that everyone's pretty much seen. Very fun movie. Just like Chris said, it got very bad reviews on it, and everyone wanted it out of theaters so no one could do Santa Claus. It was great slashers, very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I really love this movie. I love the opening, and you really get the sense that Billy is afraid of Santa Claus even before his granddad starts freaking him out about the whole Santa Claus thing, saying he punishes, and after that, it's downhill from there. It really doesn't help with, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, with his mother almost getting raped, his father being murdered, like his entire family, but his baby brother being murdered by a man in a Santa Claus suit. So that's going to traumatize anybody seeing him, in an orphanage and everything that he's going through. And this kid has endured a lot during his childhood, and that's what I like, seeing, because you had some sympathy for him until the crazy shit starts happening. I won't spoil anything, I won't spoil that much, but some things start happening. But I really liked it. Really liked the character of Billy, played by Robert Brown Wilson. Thought he did a good job. Robert Brown Wilson played the older Billy. But yeah, Linnea Quigley actually makes a little appearance in there. That was cool to see.
Yeah, which was good.
Seeing Linnea Quigley in there. You guys got anything to say about that?
She had a great.
She had a great rack.
Yes.
I'm talking about the antler, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm just talking about her boobs, but whatever.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Definitely. The line where she tells her younger sister, "If you don't go to bed, Santa Claus won't come." That makes two of us. Like that. Just that line's awesome. That was an amazing line. But that's another thing about Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, the gore was there, the story was there, the acting was there. It felt very cheesy at times, but that's, I think, an advantage for the film. And yeah, I mean, the random kills. That kill in particular, the Linnea Quigley kill and her boyfriend. That kill was just out of nowhere, like that. That just, and the kill where they're sledding the kids, and that was another kill. And that's what I liked about it. There was random kills. Nothing was set out. And it was a cool film overall. I mean, a good film, but an even better horror film. And having Christmas thrown in there as a backdrop, I thought was really cool. So Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. It's a classic. So, anybody got anything else to say about Silent Night, Deadly Night before we move on?
No, not really. It's a classic. That's about it.
Great cheesy 80s slasher.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so we're going to move on to another film that was made in 1984, and that is Gremlins. So, Gremlins is one that, to be completely honest with you, I haven't seen in many years. I used to love it as a kid. I own different copies of it. I haven't watched it in so long. That's something I plan to do for this Christmas holiday, for this year's Christmas. Plan to watch that, but so I can't really say too much on it, other than I do remember enjoying it a lot. But yeah, we'll move on. Chris, what do you have to say about Gremlins?
I gotta say the same thing, man. I haven't seen it forever, so I can't really touch down upon it too much. But I do remember that it did kind of freak me out when I was a little kid, and I did enjoy it. But it's been years, so I can't really say anything.
All right, Jeremy.
Well, just like with you guys, I have not seen that film in ages, so I really can't say anything about it except that I did really enjoy it when I saw it at a young age. But I really do need to watch it again because I thought it was a really fun movie.
All right, Mike. What about you?
Well, unlike you guys, I actually picked up Blu-ray last year and of course watched it. Um, Again, it's a great family kind of horror family movie. It's great for small kids who kind of want to get horror movies and show them. Um, it's great effects on the gremlins. They look great and creepy, and it's very funny.
Yeah, that's the thing I remember from it. It being very family oriented. It had those dark elements, those undertones that some kids wouldn't catch and adults would catch. But you know, I enjoyed it from what I remember. I'm gonna have to check it out again. Everyone said it's a classic, and like I said, when I was a child, I did enjoy it. So yeah, anybody got any final things to say about Gremlins before we move on?
Yeah, don't feed them after midnight.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. Yeah. General rule there. So we'll move on. I was going to talk about this, or I was going to bring this up after Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I felt like talking about Gremlins since it was made the first year, or the same year that Silent Night, Deadly Night was made, and this is Silent Night, Deadly Night Part Two. Uh, yeah. What do you think about this, Chris? What do you think about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part
Actually,
Two?
I have not seen this one. I've not seen the sequel, but all I can say is garbage day. About it. That's all I
Garbage
know from it.
Day. All right. What about you, Jeremy?
Uh, just like Chris, I have not seen this.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
Well, I actually seen this movie. I can't really hate it because I feel like they kind of tried on it. Um, it was a great kind of cheesy movie. It was pretty bad, but it was somewhat entertaining, like the garbage day scene and the scene where he goes to Mother Superior's house.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let me just say, if you haven't seen the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, you really don't need to watch that in order to watch Part Two, because they'll just rehash everything that happened. 30, 45 minutes of the movie, they'll just go over it, like literally show scene for scene everything that happened, and that's you know, spoiler alert, but that's what happens, and that's why many people hate that sequel is because it has a few new scenes and it's focusing on his younger brother. I believe his name is Ricky, but it shows everything that Billy went through in a complete flashback. Like it doesn't, it does it pretty much scene for scene. So that's one reason that I don't like it. It's a love hate situation. I enjoyed the second half of the film and everything that goes on there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part Two. Anybody have any final thoughts on that one?
That's a long flashback.
Yes, yes, it is. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a film from 2005, and this is Santa's Sleigh. Okay, so yeah, so Chris, what do you think about Santa's Sleigh?
Okay, well, I think at first, with the opening scene, I thought it was going to have a brilliant cast, which it does have a good cast, but the intro was pretty good. I really did like the intro with Fran Dresser and just everybody that it had there. But overall, it was really cool seeing Goldberg play Santa and a different version of Santa that you're used to. I remember seeing Goldberg back in WWE, WCW, this and that, and it was really different. It's cheesy. I like how they did the story. How Santa had to be, bring joy and presents to kids for so long, and so
Yeah.
forth. Um, yeah, I liked it. It's a very cheesy film, but a very fun and entertaining film, and I had a good time watching it. So I definitely did like it.
All right, what about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Thought it was very funny. To me, it was hilarious seeing a beloved icon like Santa Claus just going around blowing up people. So uh, to me, that was hilarious, and I really did like the intro as well. Thought it was really good. Had a really fun time watching it, and yeah.
What about you, Mike?
I actually haven't seen the film, but if you had a blockbuster, back in the blockbuster days, I remember seeing this movie a lot on the shelf, and it kind of interested me.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's a fun. It's really like a comedy to me. Horror comedy. It has
Mhm.
uh, it. I don't know really what to say about it other than I enjoyed it. It wasn't fantastic. Fantastic. Got tongue tied there. Wasn't fantastic. I mean, it's not. It's not going to win any awards. That's for sure. But Goldberg being in it, that was hilarious. I thought that was the perfect choice for Santa Claus for that movie. And the opening scene with Fran Drescher, the entire cast there, makes you believe that that's going to be the central characters, the main cast. And some things happen with
And
that. I just like the lines. I like the story. Like you said, he's been forced to give children presents and bring joy for like 100 years, or maybe it's more,
I thought it was like
but
1,000.
maybe 1,000 years. But in the angel beat him in a game. I don't even know what the hell they were playing, but beat him in a game of something, and forced him to do that and be the Santa Claus that everyone knows and loves. But when that's up, he's definitely not the same Santa Claus that everyone is used to. And I like the whole the scene where he goes into the strip club and the the pastor is at the strip club, like that. That was
yeah,
funny. That was hilarious. That whole scene.
Oh
But
yeah.
overall, I mean, it's a good movie. I would recommend watching it if you want to laugh. If you want something serious like Black Christmas, no, you're don't go into it with those hopes, because it's definitely not that. It's cheese, guys. It's it's a higher brand. It's like provolone cheese. Um, American cheese, mozzarella, but it's cheese. It's just a cheesy movie. But anyway, final thoughts on Santa's Sleigh. Anyone?
he didn't get to bring his 1,000 years of pain. I'm saddened by that.
Yes. That was very
Maybe next.
tragic.
Yeah, and I liked his deer from hell.
Oh yeah.
But I have to add in. I really like how he used his finishing move from WWE. He speared this guy through class. I thought that was pretty awesome.
And
That
all
was
he
cool.
wanted was something to eat. All he wanted was like some coleslaw. That was it. The guy could have just gave him some
I know,
coleslaw.
man.
I mean, you got to be nice to Santa.
Yeah.
That guy,
Yeah.
deserved to die. That guy was an asshole. No, that, that guy was a dick. Okay, yeah, Santa's Sleigh. Now we're gonna move on to we'll move on to a film P2, which was made in 2007. P2 I've seen a few times. Very different horror film. Very cool, set in a different area. And yeah, what do you think about this film, Chris?
I don't think I have seen it. Sounds very familiar, but I don't think I have seen it.
All right, what about you, Jeremy? Jeremy?
Oh, sorry. I have not seen that movie. I had to go do something for my mom real quick. Sorry.
That's all
I
right.
haven't seen it though. But I'd like to watch it.
All right. What about you, Mike?
I haven't seen it.
All right. I enjoyed it. Basically, follows a girl named Angela. Rachel Nichols, I believe, is the girl who plays her. And she's working late on Christmas Eve. She decides to leave. She goes down to the parking garage where she works, and her car won't start. So the guy who is like the security guard down there in the parking garage starts to stalk her and will not let her out of this parking garage. And it's got a really nice Christmas backdrop to it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Thought the acting was okay. Like I said, Rachel Nichols plays the girl Angela. Wes Bentley, I believe, is who plays the weird security guard who tries to stalk her. And is in love with her, has been watching her through the security tapes and all these weird things. It's a fun film. I mean, I'd recommend checking it out. It's like I said, it's not fantastic or Oscar worthy. They're not going to win any awards with it. They haven't won any awards with it. But it was pretty suspenseful and had a good story to it. And like I said, you know, it added to it having Christmas be the backdrop to the film. So that was cool. So that is P2. That's all we have on the list here. There's a lot more films we could talk about. There's just some we didn't add. Christmas Evil. It's a film I haven't seen. If you have seen it, you can go ahead and get your thoughts out on it now. Chris, Christmas Evil. You seen it?
Nope, have not. Waiting for the Blu-ray, which I think is out, so I might pick it up.
I actually ordered the Blu-ray. It should be shipping today. So yeah, I
Sweet.
definitely want to check it out. Jeremy, Christmas Evil.
I have not yet seen it.
All right. What about you, Mike?
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I think I'll probably get the Blu-ray sometime.
All right. What about Santa's? Or we were talking about Santa's sleigh. I'm talking about Jack Frost. That almost slipped my mind there. Anybody seen Jack Frost?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, I remember it from a young age. I actually still enjoy it. It's not a good film, but it's kind of like Santa's Sleigh with me. It's very cheesy, and it's a killer snowman who rapes Sharon Elizabeth with a carrot in the bathtub. So
Yeah. That pretty much sums up the entire film.
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
it really does.
That's a fucking masterpiece of a movie. It's a modern art masterpiece.
5 stars.
5 out of 5, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Jeremy? Have you seen Jack Frost?
I have, but it's been a long time, but yes. That tub scene was very interesting.
You had to go hop in the tub after that, didn't you?
I did.
You bring
Sweet.
carrots along, perhaps?
I brought 2.
Sweet. You brought 2 carrots and a pineapple for unknown reasons. So, all right. What about you, Mike? What do you think about Jack Frost?
I liked it. I thought it was, it's not a good movie, but it's somewhat entertaining. I liked when he had his teeth in the snowman. That was pretty good. My kind of
Yeah.
disappointed that the snowman doesn't look like what he was in the cover.
Yeah, it's been years. From what I remember, I enjoyed it, but I can't really say too much on it because I haven't seen it in a long time. So yeah, if there's any more Christmas-themed horror films that you guys would like to talk about, now's your chance to go ahead and get those out. Chris, do you have any more?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered the ones that I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I have one.
All right.
Elmo Saves Christmas. That movie scares me even to this day.
Yeah. Also, I think we should talk about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because that deer scares the shit out of me.
Dude, the Abominable Snowman scares me every time, man. I can just imagine, like, that creeping up, like at your window or something in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Definitely. Be terrifying. Be like Salem's Lot all over again, but with a snowman.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, Mike, any more Christmas-themed horror films you would like to talk about?
Actually, there is one. It's called Don't Open Till Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that, or I haven't seen that film. But what do you think about it?
Once again, it's cheesy. It's pretty low budget. Once again, it's kind of like the Santa going around killing people, but it's a mystery kind of twist. There is one death in particular where the guy goes in and take a piss in the urinal, and you see someone with a knife come out and slice his dick off.
Well, did he at least get to finish peeing before that happened?
Well, he peed blood, so.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Okay, so now that we've talked about all the movies we have to talk about, let's talk a few minutes about the Christmas horror films, the subgenre in general, and the films that we've got. And I think why many of the films that we talked about we actually enjoy or we like is because there's not that many Christmas horror films. There's not many to compare them to. They didn't go out like the slasher craze where every movie was a slasher film and kind of wore itself out to where we have now. There's like no good slasher films, or the found footage subgenre, which I mean was original with the Blair Witch Project, and now that has run itself into the ground. Um,
Oh
things
yeah,
like
it's
that,
definitely,
and
of course.
even vampire subgenre, werewolf zombie. Those movies. There's good and bad in both, and there are good and bad in Christmas horror films, but we really don't have much to compare it to because they did so little. So, they're not coming out every year with a new, Black Christmas number 18. They're not coming out with new Christmas themed horror films, and I actually do and like that because it didn't run it to the ground, and we do have movies, most of these movies that we actually really like and really enjoy. So, what do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for the majority of the Christmas themed horror films, I like pretty much all of them. There's a few that I haven't seen that is a toss up. I may or may not like them, but for the most part, everyone that we have talked about, I have really enjoyed. So I'm glad that it didn't. It isn't like found footage. It didn't push it to the limit because it has openings where you can release a Christmas themed horror film nowadays, and it won't feel like you're pushing it down our throats. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean, I
Having a
completely
movie
agree.
carrot in the bathtub.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm just glad, didn't get run into the ground. And every movie that we have talked about that I have seen, I really do enjoy. They're just cheesy, fun, good time to watch around Christmas. And yeah, just thought it was all really enjoyable, even though they was, well, even though they stink of cheese.
Okay. Not all of them, buddy. Not all of them.
Ah, no, I'm just kidding.
Mike, what do you think about it?
Well, like everyone else said, it hasn't been overused. Most of them were made, back in the 80s or 70s, which is great because it was a great year for slashers and the general horror movies. But there's always possibility of remakes like Black
Yeah.
Christmas and Silent Night that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I left the Black Christmas remake off of the list for a reason. Wow. And the Silent Night.
did you?
What?
I was gonna say because you have to save that for a whole complete video of itself because it is by far you can quote me the greatest remake of all time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, to me, that's not really on the street.
That's going to be our next horror chat, guys. So get prepared. It's going to be a full like
Yeah.
3 hour long event. We just got to praise the Black Christmas remake and go over each and every single cast member and producer. I don't care, director, producer, executive producer, cameraman, the guy who the fucking water boy on the set. We got to talk about him because I think he was amazing. Kept them, kept their thirst quenched.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's essential to filmmaking.
Yeah, it's a great film. But all bullshit aside, yeah, I mean, glad that we don't have a new Christmas themed horror film every year. Although I am curious why Silent Night, Deadly Night got sequels. Santa Sleigh didn't really expect it to. Gremlins did. I'm more curious why Black Christmas never got a sequel. Because you look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, had many sequels, good and bad. You look at Halloween, had which is my favorite horror franchise of all time, but it had a rocky had some rocky sequels in there, some that weren't I didn't like too much. But almost every film from '70s or every horror film that '70s, '80s, they usually had sequels to follow them, and I'm curious why Black Christmas never got that.
Yeah. Uh, I completely agree. I wonder why I didn't. And another film that, I mean, that's off topic, but The Burning. I wonder why that never got a sequel. Probably because of the ending, but still.
Yeah.
Black Christmas was definitely one of the films that should have got a sequel.
Well,
out
you
of
know,
any.
it's a 50-50 with me because in a way I would have liked to have seen a sequel, but in another way I'm like that was the perfect way to go. It didn't follow into
Oh,
this
yeah.
typical let's make a Black Christmas sequel every year, let's run this franchise into the ground. It was just a standalone film, and that's what made it so classic. Another thing that made it so classic and made it so good to me. But I would have liked to see where the story went too without the piece of shit
Yeah.
remake. But yeah, and this is once again off topic. But the slasher craze, the slasher subgenre, um, just gone downhill bad. And what I want to ask you guys, what's the last good, like the last memorable, the last slasher film that you can remember that truly affected you, or you wanted to watch this slasher film over and over, and it's going to stick with you for years. What is the last slasher film? Can you name a good slasher film in the past 10 years?
100 years.
Uh, that's kind of difficult, man. Kind of difficult.
I mean, I would say the last one for me, at least, that was. I mean, everyone liked it, and I mean, I found some enjoyment out of it. Really, I mean, I liked the movie. I don't absolutely love it. It's not a franchise that I'm a huge fan of, but I think the original is very unique, and that's Scream. I think Scream, '96, guys. That's a long time ago, and I don't think we've had
Yeah.
any film that's really reached that peak, that hype. I don't think there's been a slasher film since then. Maybe the Maniac remake, which I really do enjoy. You can see that as a slasher. You can see that being a good one. I enjoyed that. But to reach the hype of Scream and actually go to that level and have many sequels which were terrible, most of them. I mean, Scream 2 wasn't bad. Scream 3 and Scream 4, but yeah, Scream. That is like the last one I can truly think of, and that was in 1996.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a few here and there, but nothing that has really, made me crave more slasher films. Definitely, I think the golden era for slashers were the '70s, '80s, mostly the '80s, but there were some good ones in the late to mid '70s.
Oh yeah, totally. I completely agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like a dying. Slashers in general are kind of dead.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one that I enjoyed, which was a slasher film, Home Invasion, was You're Next. I did like that. I like how, I really didn't see too much CGI in that. A lot of it was practical and, low budget. And I actually really did enjoy that one.
Yeah, and every
It's
once in
just
a while, we get that one good horror film, whether it be slasher or any other subgenre in horror. We'll get that one, and we're like, oh shit, this is actually good, and we actually enjoy it, and we talk highly about it because we don't get that anymore. We don't get,
Yep.
oh shit, this is a Halloween. Like it's nothing is ever going to compare to that, and our standards are so high. We're usually always going to be disappointed by what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So when we do see that one horror film, we're like, oh shit, like this is actually really good. Like our expectations are usually always low for whatever movie we're about to go into. If it's a new release, oh shit, this is gonna suck. But like The Conjuring with me, I went in and seen that. I was like, this is gonna be terrible. seen that in the theaters, and I was like, this is just going to be shit. You know, it's not going to even compare to Poltergeist, The Exorcist, The Omen. It's not going to compare to any of those movies. And Paranormal Activity had ran itself to the ground, and it still is. But I was actually impressed by The Conjuring. I thought it was good, and that's and the Evil Dead. Evil Dead, the remake,
Oh yeah.
or the re. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a reimagining, reboot. Not really a remake of the old film, but I was going into that like this is going to be terrible, man, because having seen the original, nothing can compare to that. But it was actually decent. I did not hate it. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I mean, The Evil Dead, that franchise is one that I absolutely love. That's one of the, I seen Evil Dead 2 first, but I owned all of them. And when I was a kid, I absolutely loved it. It was one of the, first major franchises that I really got into. And that, Evil Dead had some, I had high hopes for it, and actually came out really liking it. And I'm glad I own it. I think it's a pretty good film.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about the the slasher subgenre, or horror in general, Mike and Jeremy?
Uh,
Like, I mean, what do you think about it in this new age? What do you think about it? In the past 10 years, we'll say.
kind of like what you said. There's only a few diamonds in the batch here. A lot of them are just kind of like the same, or it's just terrible from the beginning to the end, or one half will be good and the other half will be complete crap. But right now, the horror genre is really kind of dead. Like for this day and age, like it's mostly like Paranormal Activity now. Which is kind of sad because I don't know. Me as a horror fan, I'd like to see that more than like Paranormal Activity 15.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, One that kind of stuck with me because it was so creepy. Just like the thought of that actually happening to you was The Strangers, and also
Oh
Your
yeah.
Next. Just films like that, like you're not even safe in your home. You know,
Yeah.
they could like walk in anytime they want to. That to me, you know, especially like when I first saw that, that creeped me out, and it still does.
Mhm.
And one of the last
Yeah.
times I actually watched that, it was like right where the man was just like walking up behind her when she's getting a glass of water. I hear a knock on my door.
Oh wow.
I was like, what the frig? But it turned out to be some people I knew, and it just it kind of hyped it up to more than it really was, because he was in that moment where it's just like that someone's probably about to die, and then you just like you hear like a knock on on your door. And to me, that was kind of funny looking back at it now, but I was just like, oh my god, please don't let it be this one dude, because he's freaking creepy. But
Yeah, man.
uh,
I agree. The Strangers for me, uh, I really enjoyed The Strangers. The creepiest thing to me about The Strangers was the ending. Why are you doing this? Because you were home, and that
Yeah.
really set that in your mind. Like, oh shit! Like these guys. There's no motive. You know, there's no he cheated on my there's no like, oh, I gotta kill him because he cheated with my girlfriend, or like Your Next, I gotta collect the my parents' insurance policy. Like there's just no motive behind it to where it's like, oh, I gotta kill my parents because I need the money from their death, and who's in on it. It's just because you were home. Whoever was home, they were going to get this tonight, and you guess you were unlucky, and that's what I really liked about it. About The Stranger, I thought that was one out of the bunch, or one out of the few that were really good. Saul's another one I thought was very unique. God, they run that
Yeah.
franchise into the ground.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I would really like a sequel to come out that I'm looking forward to, because today it's remakes, and we haven't really got a good sequel in a while. But will we ever get back to the way horror once was? I doubt it, and that's
Yeah.
really upsetting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're bringing in people, you know, doing, you know, these remakes, or they don't have horror fans doing them anymore. It's just, let's bring in somebody who's completely fresh, especially with remakes. Let's bring in somebody who's never seen the original. Let's
Yeah.
bring in someone who is not tainted by the fact that he's seen the original and he loves the original. Let's bring in some artsy fucking, you know, just this dude with the beanie on drinking hot chocolate. Let's just bring in this depressed guy who's like, oh, I can make this visually amazing. Like, let's bring in somebody who has no clue what he's doing. He hasn't seen the original. He has no respect for the original. And I think that's where most of the remakes are just, that's where they fail. You bring in one of us to do it, and we're going to give you the best damn remake that we can because we want to pay that respect to the original. I mean, of course, we're going to change a few things up. A remake, I do think it does need to have things changed up. It doesn't need to be just like the original. For instance, a Psycho remake, god awful. It doesn't need to be exactly like the original. It can have things, you know, different. It can be changed up. But you know, when you go too far off track, that's when you're going overboard. And I don't know, guys. I don't want to, you know, keep rambling on here, but the horror genre for me is slowly, slowly dying a slow and painful death. It might, you know, it might die in its sleep one night, or we might just have to put a pillow over its head and take it out. Uh,
I'd like to share my thoughts on this. Something I figure out is a good example of that is the Hellraiser series, where some of the movies they made are really scripts for Hellraiser movies, or just scripts for other movies, but they made it into a somewhat Hellraiser movie. Like, even the newest one was terrible. Revelations didn't even have Doug Crowley in it. If you turn down, considering, well, we turned down the script, and that's very questionable considering how many movies he's been in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
okay, guys, I'm not exactly sure how long we've talked in this horror chat. So yeah, I mean, I guess we are going to close this out. You know, talked about some really great Christmas themed horror films, and yeah, if you have anything else to add about this, about what we've talked about, any films you'd like to add, or you know, anything like that, now's your chance to get them out.
Not really, but I just want to say, question for the viewers. Comment down below on this video. What is your favorite Christmas-themed horror film? Love to
Yep.
know.
Also, comment down below. You know, give us a topic that you would like to see for next week's horror chat, and you know, we'll talk about that. And also, if you would like to be a part of a Late Night Frights horror chat, if you would actually like to join us and talk about horror films or whatever topic we will be discussing next time, you know, that would be cool. We'll have some fans in. If you'd like to do that, please comment down below. And yeah, we'll gladly have you aboard for the horror chat number 9. I believe will be the next one.
And comment down below and tell us what you do in your bathtub.
Yeah, for Jeremy, because Jeremy needs some new thoughts for when he's in his bathtub.
I'm all out of pineapples.
He's all out of pineapples. He's thinking about moving on to a cucumber, but he's not sure about that. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching Late Night Frights Horror Chat number 8, Christmas of Horror. I hope everyone has a great Christmas. Hope everyone gets to spend it with their family, and you know, I hope that all the kids gets tons of presents, and hopefully Santa Claus doesn't come by your house with an axe. He might, you know, just be on the lookout for that. He could, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So, you know, stay tuned, guys. Next week we will have a new theme coming up, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we will try to do horror chat number 8 next week. So give us some topics, and if you want to be a part of it, comment down below. You just watched Late Night Frights Horror Chat number 8. I'm the Jay Sloan, the leader.
I'm Chris Brock, the co-leader.
I'm Jeremy Burchett, a member.
I'm Mark Schenkel, a member. And I hope you guys watch good horror movies this month.
Yes.
And have a Merry.
Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. So yeah, guys. Until next time, comment and subscribe. And as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.